What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Ring the Bell show, presented by SeatGeek. Head over to SeatGeek.com right now and use our code Ring the Bell for $20 off your very first ticket purchase. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell for notifications. Hey, man, we're here to talk about Jason, a sweep. I don't care if it was against, the Temple Owls baseball team.
Yeah.
The fact is, for this team, with how things have been shaken out since game one, man, a sweep is a beautiful thing.
And with how easy game 3 started out, and then
Yes.
Soto happens. And
Yeah.
you're like, eesh,
Right.
But you eke it out. It's just been impressive to watch this starting pitching staff this season.
Yeah.
I know we've been in, you would think we're 0 whatever this season, the way we've been on these podcasts, but
Yeah.
it really is. Like, Sanchez pitched a beautiful gem. He's got an ERA in the 2s now. Really, everybody's ERA is in the 2s and lower, besides Nola, who, just his last 2 starts have been really good. So just to watch them put in work, off bats are starting to wake up a little bit. They were really kicking on all aspects except for that bullpen. I don't like Soto anymore. He was bad last year, too. He gave up a lot of runs last year.
He's just so inconsistent, man. He's taken over that Alvarado role of just don't know what you're getting with each time he's out on the mound. And but look, let's kind of start out with something we haven't done yet this year, and that's talk about pitching right off the bat, man. The Phillies rotation ranks after last night's game. They are the best ERA in the National League with a 2.54. The best in the National League in Jason Kent's favorite stat ever, whip.
The big whip guy.
1.06. And they're best in the National League with a 207 opponent's batting average. They also have the best strikeout to walk ratio and ground ball rate in the league.
Impressive.
Jay, before the season, we didn't expect this at all out of this rotation. What have you seen maybe that's different with this rotation? Do you see a lot of confident dudes up there?
Other guys.
Ranger.
Really the other guys.
Yeah, you're right. The other guys, you're right. Yeah.
Like, when you look at it, Wheeler, it's very misleading. He's 0-3. I know he's lost some great starts this year.
Yeah.
But okay, so he has a 3.0 even. Rangers 3-0 in 4 starts, a 1.73. That's the jump I think, we've talked about for years, even before that we got on this show. Like, if Ranger can just stop being that 4 or 5 inning guy, and he can be a consistent 6 or 7 inning guy, which he's really, back-to-back starts of over 90 pitches. He threw like 116 last game in his complete game.
Yeah.
And then Turnbull is in 3 starts, even though it's 5 innings apiece, he's got a 1.8 ERA. And Sanchez 2.53. So it's really, Nola's been struggling outside. I know his last start was really good. Wheeler's kind of, he had his bad moments, he's got his good moments, but it's really the rest of the guys picking it up. Turnbull really surprised me, and I didn't expect Ranger to really look this good. But if he's figured it out, he's a Gold Glove caliber defender.
Yep.
And he's a guy that could legit be a 2, I feel like, on this team. You could move him above Nola if he really starts to pitch like this throughout the season.
And what's been so impressive, and I kind of want to sit on Ranger Suarez a little bit here, 3-0, a 1.73 ERA. He's got 4 starts. He's got 26 innings pitched so far this year, Jay. That's 6.5 innings per start. And I don't care who, there's no one that covers Phillies or talks about Phillies baseball who will, maybe now they'll be like, oh, I knew he had it all along. 95% of people who talk about the Phillies were worried that maybe Ranger wasn't the kind of guy that can get you past 5 innings every night.
100%. That's, I think that was everyone's biggest worry.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got a 0.7. Like, that's what's more impressive is 0.77 whip. His ground ball rate is so impressive.
It's incredible.
And so all he has to do, like, you just hope when it's hit the Turner fields it. But outside of that, he's getting so many ground balls. What he's doing is just, it's tough to keep it up. But this is one of those seasons you hope he has that magical run.
Yeah, and if you look at the, I know I'm talking about this after 4 starts, but hey, look, if Bryce can talk about it, then I'll talk about it. This is a season in the National League where the Cy Young race is gonna be wide open. Um, if this is the kind
Oh,
you know, is this something that you can start, pinning on Ranger? I mean, he's throwing like a 1 or a 2 right now. He's got 27 strikeouts in 26 innings. That's over a strikeout per inning. The dude's just dealing right now, and everything's working. Are you almost waiting for that other shoe to drop, or are you saying, "Dude, let's ride this kid out because he showed in the past what he's doing right now is what we thought he's capable of doing."
that's it right there. We've talked about a million times. If Rangers just could be that 6-7 inning guy,
Yeah.
he's a dude that hasn't gotten Gold Gloves in the past because he couldn't get enough innings.
Yeah.
He's a guy we've talked about putting as a closer. But if you can get 100 pitch Ranger out there,
Yep.
that drastically improves that starting rotation to the where you're okay. Us not signing a big name player, or even if they can keep it up, because we all believed in Sanchez as well. If they
Yep.
can keep it up, they may not have to make a trade deadline for a starter. They could go bullpen or bat at that point if this staff can keep it up.
I agree. And you look at what Ranger is doing, and what's even more impressive is what you just said. Like that ground ball rate is, one of, if not the best in Major League Baseball. And he doesn't have debilitating stuff. Like he has the kind of stuff where, the balls are going to get elevated, especially as this is Bank Park. He's not doing that right now, and it's so incredible to see what Ranger is doing. It's just tremendous. And look, I also kind of want to talk a little bit about Christopher Sanchez. Yes, he's 1-2, but wins and losses in today's day and age kind of mean nothing. But
Mhm.
that 2.5 ERA, he's got 25 strikeouts and 21 in the third innings. Man, also just super duper impressive. How are how much do you think is this starting rotation responsible for the Phillies being only 2 games out of first place in the NL East?
They're responsible for the 11 wins. Let's not get
Yeah.
it twisted. Like they're the reason because the bats don't come like what I think we talked last show. They were I think last in the National League in runs scored. So it's or
Yeah.
maybe in the league. It might have been in the league. It's really bad.
Yeah.
So it is really this staff that's held us together and kept us there because you just know, like, and I know it's cliche, and I think we've said it every year. This is always a warm weather place. Are the bats in Philadelphia always wake up come May, June, and then
Mhm.
July and August they're ripping. So if this staff can keep it like as long as we're above 500, I think we can have we can get a few more series here. You're looking good going into okay. Now our bats are getting better. Trey Turner's turning it around. Once Bryce starts hitting, and he's already started to kind of eke out of it. But man, if those bats heat up, I think this they could chase the Braves down.
I mean, you look at last night, man, like Christopher Sanchez, dude,
So
or
good.
he had 8 strikeouts through 4 innings of work. He had 15 swing and misses. 15.
That's
It
impressive
was just,
stuff.
yeah, I mean, it's been so incredible, what he's doing, what Ranger did. Are you worried a little bit about the amount of pitches that Ranger threw? I mean, he threw 112 pitches in a 9-inning complete game. Does that worry you at all? Do you think he has a pitch? Do you think he'll have a pitch count his next start?
Well, and that I don't know because he went 93 the game before. So I'm just it's always in the back of your mind that something could happen because he's always been that guy that wasn't going that long distance. But I don't if he did something in the offseason, I let him go. I'm riding his arm until it falls off at this point. He's look impressive. I don't think they can give him a pitch count at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you just got to let him tell you, let Ranger dictate how he think he's doing. So let's kind of go on to the bullpen. Last night, the Phillies almost blew a 6 run lead. Gregory Soto comes in. It was just flat out terrible. Um, Overall, how are you thinking about this bullpen with how good the starting pitching is? We've said this before. with how good the starting pitching is right now, that bullpen has to be just as good, if not better, because they're going to have to shut down these games. We don't have a dedicated closer, and they're doing, closer by committee, closer by situation. Man, like where are you on the bullpen right now?
It's kind of worrisome. We've only gotten one game, and he just came back of Kirkering. He's a guy I think they really want to give him the shot. There's certain guys you can count on. They're really Hoffman's looking really good. Marte's looking good, but the big dogs, Dominguez, Soto, Alvarado, they aren't. If those guys aren't pitching well, I don't know how great that bullpen's going to be. We need those guys to start stepping up, especially Alvarado and Sir Anthony. After what they've done for us in the past, they need to turn it up, because if they don't, it's going to be tough. But I really like Hoffman. I like Kirkering, but I think that's where the starters pitching well, you can turn to a bullpen guy come trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not worried about Jose Alvarado. Alvarado has made 8 straight scoreless appearances and only allowed 1 hit. So right now, Alvarado is absolutely just lights out.
Still always worries me.
I know. And look, last night was great. It was the best. I think it was the best overall night that the Phillies offense had so far this season. 3 homers, 3 doubles, 7 runs through 6 innings. They did have 9 runs on the Reds a couple weeks ago, but that was, Bryce Harper. That was one guy. But last night it was, 7 different guys in that lineup. Yeah, almost everybody. It was a great series. It was, obviously that last game last night was a nail biter, but they hung on to get the sweep. They're 11-8 right now, Jay. 3 games better than at this very point last season. So all that time of me just screaming and text messages and, look, guys, I will always come on here and admit, Bryce Harper's my favorite player. I shred my favorite players, and I've been shredding Bryce Harper on text messages. Because John, our resident, let me make a statement, but I'm going to go quiet when it doesn't happen. He did go 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts last night.
And he's batting 260 the last week. So it's not, he's the least of my worries. Trey's coming around.
Trey is incredible right now.
After we ripped him, I think that's all he had to hear was us ripping him. He didn't want the standing ovation again. He's like, I'm too big for that. They can't do it twice in a row. But he's impressive, and you just hope Bohm still doesn't seem to be making that next step. That's kind of worrisome. I'd like to see a stretch where he's really killing it. I know it's early in the season, but he was a guy touted to be like a 300 hitter with a little bit of power coming up, and he's more, 260, and it's not really what you're thinking.
I mean,
he's important.
Of course. My favorite thing yet last night was in our other group thread. I'm going to throw my brother under the bus. No hits in his last 11 at-bats for Kyle Schwarber, but yet still in the leadoff position. My man. Let me just say, Zach, that wasn't your most shining moment of criticisms. So
isn't that the way things work?
It's just the way it works, man.
It works.
It was really good. So what are you seeing now from this offense that they can maybe lead right into the White Sox? Look, we talked about this is the kind of week where you should go 6-0. And I do think the Phillies are going to make it to that point. I think they should sweep out the White Sox. What do you want to see continuing going into this weekend? For me, I want to see an average of 6 runs per game. You got to see that.
In the last 6 games, Trey Turner has 11 hits and 7 runs. Batting 440 with an OBP of 462. Okay, the dude's slugging 840. That's what I want to see continue. I think yes, Schwarber's the leadoff guy. He's always going to be the leadoff guy, but this offense has to be built around Trey Turner because he's essentially a leadoff guy. Schwarber's going to hit a home run or strike out. Yes, he's hitting more singles this year, but he's usually not going to be on base. Trey Turner is setting the example right now, and that's why they're winning. So if he continues to hit, you're getting guys on for Bryce now and Bohm and JT. You got to keep driving them in. And I think that's been the difference this last few games as opposed to early in the season. Nobody was getting on. So even when they got those hits later, there's nobody going in. Trey Turner setting that table. The top two guys have 12 runs in the last 6 games.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been kind of crazy. In the last 13 games, dude, like the Phillies are 9-4. It's amazing how it doesn't feel that way,
It
right?
doesn't.
We
Not
always
even
talk about
close.
this. They're 9-4 in their last 13 games. As it stands right now, the Atlanta Braves are 12-5. They're 7-3 in their last 10. The Phillies are 11-8, 2 games out of first, 7-3 in their last 10. It's just
Playing
crazy.
good ball.
They really are. So, you look at this offense like we were just talking about, right? This offense right now, this, like you said, it was a best night overall for the offense. This lineup entered that game last night on Wednesday night with an MLB low 34 extra base hits.
That's
Um,
tough.
Incredible. Schwarber homers twice. Turner's hit 425 over his last 10 games with 4 doubles and 2 home runs. It's just been unreal what this offense has been doing in the past, 3, 4, 5 days. And look, they're 11-8. Their next series is against the 3-15 Chicago White Sox. I hope this isn't one of that, trap
It
series.
can't be. It can't. If you listen, 2-1's acceptable. You need to be 3-0. You can't go 1-2. That's
I agree.
Panic mode.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk a little bit right here about Bryce and where we're at with him right now. So, in his last 7 days, last week or so, that's 7 games. He's hitting 222 with a 276 on base percentage. Just not good. He's got 4 home runs, 11 RBIs this year. He's hitting 217. Look, and I'm going to say this to you guys again. I went over his career. He's never been this bad the first month of the season for his entire career, like not even close. My issue is I wouldn't be so worried about a 217 batting average, Jay, if that on base percentage was like 330, 340. But the fact that Bryce Harper is under 300 in the on base percentage realm, that's bothersome to me. Because it just seems like maybe it's a point where he wants to hit so bad he's not looking to walk. What are you seeing maybe that I'm missing that you're, confident that look, I think he's going to be fine. I think he's still going to be an MVP type player, but I want to know, when is this going to break out? Because if he starts getting on that roll, Jay, and Turner stays what he's doing, and JT's been doing really well, dude, this lineup is what we've said it can be, is unstoppable. Yeah. But when are we going to get Bryce back on Bryce track?
I would be more worried if I saw bad play at first. So if the bat wasn't there and then he's at first base and he's just booting balls, not hustling, those type of things, then I would start to be like, okay, I think we have an issue. I just think he's cold. Listen, it's only the 18th, so he could bat 600 the next 2 weeks and bring all of that up. But no, until I start seeing more, like the body language tells me he's invested. He still cares. He wants to do it. He's not checked out early, so he's got to hit through it. You hope it doesn't last much longer, but I've seen too much. He's never been a dude that's really done bad in his career. So I don't see him just dropping off out of nowhere like this. Unless the only problem is how much is the back an issue? Like, because it was brought up in spring training. So is that lingering?
I don't know, because like you said, dude, he's jumping. He's making diving plays at first base with no problem. I'm sitting here going to say, I think we legitimately have the best fielding first baseman in Major League Baseball. It's incredible.
Watching the transition from right field to and I get he's a professional yes, I understand all that. And he's a major league athlete, but going it doesn't matter where you go to play. Any base, learning a new place is hard.
Yeah. The easiest transition that I can think of was when A-Rod went from shortstop to third base, and it was like nothing to him. And that's it. The last really big time comparison that I can maybe say this to. But what Bryce is doing defensively, he already leads the league in defensive runs saved at first base. It's unbelievable. So you are right. And I will say, when I text, it's hard to get me to settle down because, it's easy
Yeah,
to
it
just sit
is.
there and keep. But it's when I get here and I'm talking face to face with Jay, I understand more where he's coming from. And then it calms me down a little bit when I do think of the fact of he might not be hitting 290 or 300, but damn, he is like
But I do
shut
want him to get up
down
there.
first
Like
baseman.
I
Oh, of
still think
course.
he should. Like I don't want to
Right, right,
say
right,
if he
right.
plays great defense the whole year, I'll be like he needs to hit the 35 home runs. He needs to be batting 290. That OBP's got to be up there. So yeah.
Yeah. Alec Boehm, I'm not really worried about over his last, 7 days. He's hitting 250, but he's got an on base percentage of 390. So, Alec Boehm's getting on base if he's not hitting. He has 11 walks already this season. So he's getting on base, 15 strikeouts, not too shabby either. But it's that one home run and 11 RBI. That's odd because we all expected kind of his power numbers to really go up. And we're over 20 games in here, almost 20 games in, and he's got one home run. Does that worry you at all that bat's not producing a little bit any more power?
Yeah, he's a guy. I just think he's just not taking the progression we thought. Is
Mm-hmm.
maybe he is what he is. Maybe he's only that 20 to 23 home run guy that's going to bat 260. Is that
Yeah,
terrible? No. Is it, he's improved enough defensively where he's not a liability as much over
he's
there?
very good, very
Yeah.
good.
So to me, I'm okay with it. Do I want, because to me, I think he should be the full hole hitter if
Mm-hmm.
he is what we expect. But I think maybe the lofty expectations for him are just that a little too lofty, and we need to tamper him a little bit.
So another guy with those lofty expectations, and it comes from me as well, is Bryson Stott, man. I mean, you talk about someone who's on the struggle bus right now. One home run, 6 RBIs. He's hitting 237, a 310 on base percentage. That slugging is sitting at a 305, which is not
It's
great.
tough.
You think, Stott's the kind of guy that you think will bounce out of this eventually and start ripping things apart? Or is this something to be worried about?
His bat improved so much last year
Yeah.
that you wonder if it may have been because he was abnormally high against lefties batting average last year, I
Hmm.
believe. So it's one of those things you kind of hope it wasn't just a season thing, where he could be a guy that's just going to fluctuate a lot. You'd like
Hmm.
to see more consistency, but it's not. I am a little worried, but I think the whole team right now offensively struggling. And I do think people will start once that weather breaks and the ball starts flying a little more at the bank. I think it'll pep up a little bit.
I agree. And I think you're right. I think once that weather starts to break, and it just seems to be, this is just a fact about the team. Once this weather breaks and we're getting consistently in the 70s and 80s, yeah, I think this offense is going to do some special things as long as they're healthy. And seemingly they seem to be pretty healthy right now. All right. So as we wrap up here, we're going to go into a weekend series again against the 3-15 Chicago White Sox, a bad baseball team, probably worse than the Colorado Rockies, if that's even possible right now. What are you expecting? Are you expecting more than what we saw against Colorado? More of the same and get out of there with another 3-game sweep. What are your expectations, or what are you specifically looking for this weekend?
I really want to see Wheeler Nola. I want
Yeah.
to see them go
Mhm.
in.
Dominant.
Yeah, to me, I'm okay if you go 2-1. You have Turnbull. I don't expect another great start from him. What he's given us has been impressive. It's like Lorenzen. I don't, he's giving you something great. The other, it's going to drop in a minute. But I really want to see
Right.
Nola and Wheeler dominate, and I want to see the offense. Even if Turnbull or one of these guys, I don't see Wheeler or Nola having one. But if Turnbull has a bad start, I
Yeah.
think this offense is going to be picking it up. I think it's going to be a lot of runs this weekend. They're going to get some
Mhm.
hits.
I very much agree. I want to see something good out of Aaron Nola. I know I say this all the time. He's 2-1 with a 3.47 ERA already in 4 starts. He's already given up 5 home
I just want
runs.
to see him not give up a home run. I think
I mean,
that's my goal.
yeah. He's got 23 and a third innings pitched. He's given up 20 hits, 10 runs, 9 of them earned. 5 of the 9 earned runs are home runs, 9 walks, 19 strikeouts. He has a whip of a 1.2
That's
4.
what's worrying me because he's always a low, like a 106 guy. So that
Yeah.
if they're hitting him more now, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, I just don't know what else to say about this guy anymore. I don't know what to do. I was there on Monday. He pitched fine. Again, it was against the Rockies. He still gave up that home run. But I just want to see him go out and throw 7 innings against the White Sox, strike out 10 guys, maybe give up a run, not a home run.
It's going to be a
And
home run if it's one.
I just can't. I can't take the home run ball anymore. But yeah, I really want to see him just go up there and dominate. I don't care if it's a bad team. That's just momentum and confidence for that guy to go into his next start. So yeah, seeing Wheeler and Nola, I'd like to see them get a win for Zach Wheeler at some point. So I'm hoping this is the weekend for that. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to as well. I'm looking for another great weekend from the Bats and a real solid weekend out of year 1 and 2. I mean, I seem to now have expectations on what I'm getting out of Ranger and Christopher Sanchez. I would like to continue that with the 1 and the 2. I'm guessing at some point soon we're going to be seeing Taijuan Walker back in the rotation, which could be a bad thing.
I don't
I mean,
know how.
I wouldn't touch it right now, to be
No,
honest.
it's too. I don't even go 6-man. No, you go bullpen. Right
I agree.
now it's too impressive. Turnbull looks too good. Even if he's going 4 or 5, that's you can put Walker as the back end on him.
Yeah.
I need that 5 to stay the same right now. They are carrying this team and they're very good.
Yeah, I mean, at some point during the year, if there's like we've had before, 7 games in a week on a schedule, and instead of a bullpen game, you throw Taijuan out there for 5 or 6 hopeful innings, so where the bullpen can get a little bit of rest. Sure, that's great. It's a great asset to have. But right now, I if I was the Phillies, which is crazy, I would just be like, hey, Taijuan, just keep showing up and having a catch, but you're just not going to see the mound. Or do you maybe put Taijuan in the bullpen?
I would think put him in the book, like he could be the Strom type of dude that was last year. Come in if, like you said, if it's that long start, you have a long week, 7 games, or even if you got a pool guy early. I remember early in the season, Nola, they left him in there because you weren't sure. It just gives you that extra arm out of the bullpen. I don't think it's terrible. Who do you take out? I don't know.
I
I
don't
just
know.
would rather not. I'd rather him not
Gregory
see the
Soto.
field. You could definitely take out trade Soto and get rid of him.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, there's a chance that by the end of Sunday night, the Phillies could be in first place in the NL East.
Who the
They
Braves
have
playing?
the Texas Rangers, and the Phillies are 2 games back. So you sweep the White Sox, there's a chance that we're talking Sunday night about the first place Philadelphia Phillies.
Listen, I don't
Now,
want to
if they give up 2 runs in the first inning tomorrow, I'm going to text that the season's over and that they suck. But other than that, dude, you could be talking about a first place team on Sunday night.
I don't want to put a damper on your expectations.
Yeah.
It is the Braves. They're a little good too.
Decent.
I can
At
see it.
best.
Yeah, I'll give them. Yeah, they have. They got a couple good guys. Kuna.
Yeah, how are they? I didn't get a chance to check out like how their roster is doing. I would like to see how some of them dudes, how Acuna is doing, and those players.
RC, I think, leaves the league in batting average.
Jeez,
And
I know
Ozuna's
Ozuna was
crushing the
Ozuna.
ball.
Yeah, of course, Ozuna.
Yeah, that team's just.
Let's see
Listen,
here.
if we could just stay with them all year, that's all I want.
Yeah, God, Ozuna has 8 home runs and 23 RBIs already. That's incredible.
That's for a dude that.
Damn, dude. I know. Acuna's not doing great. I mean, he's got 1 home run, 6 RBIs. He's got 20 strikeouts already. Man,
that means he's going to have a month where he hits like 17.
Oh, I know. He's got 10 walks already, but yet he's still hitting 294 with a 400 on base percentage. But he's got 1 home run and 6 RBIs. But But yeah, that's crazy. The team is they're striking out a ton, like a lot. They strike out a lot looking at their roster. That's just crazy. Like Jared Kelnick has 39 at bats and he's already struck out 17 times.
That's quite
um,
impressive.
so
Yo,
so
but he's
for the
hitting
week,
359. What?
ridiculous.
That's wild.
If he doesn't strike out, he's getting a hit. So all right, are you predicting a
3-0.
3-0
Yeah, it's got to be a
weekend?
sweep. Yeah, sweep
I
the
agree.
week. That's beautiful.
Oh, that's
Listen,
great.
after how bad it won't even feel like you're there. But if you sweep this week, it's what we all expected.
Mm-hmm. So if you sweep the weekend, man, I tell you what, by Monday being 14-8, it's not a bad thing. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. And I guess the third worst manager in baseball is doing something right to get this team right now 2 games out of the NL East lead. But yeah. All right, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell for notifications. Head over to SeatGeek.com right now. Use our code Ring the Bell for $20 off your very first ticket purchase. Also, check out our sister station. We've been posting some live videos up here lately. The Hot Tag Wrestling Show, doing absolutely spectacular. The most recent video we just did is already over 1,000 views. Really appreciate that big time. That's hosted by myself and George Rogers. So check that out. We are going to stream on there once a week. So check that out. Also, at Ring the Bell 856 on all the socials for all the updates. Check out our Instagram page. Check this out as we send updates through here as well. But thank you again so very much. Big weekend. Like I said, if the Phillies can sweep the weekend, the Texas Rangers can help the Phillies out a little bit. Maybe by Sunday night, the Phillies could at least be tied for the division lead in the National League East division. So, we'll see what happens, but
they need to be positive, at least neutral in run differential. They're -6 right now. They better go like +10 over this weekend.
Yes, that would be ideal. I agree. But all right. So for Jason Kent, I'm Chris Francesco, and we'll catch you guys here Sunday night. And as always, go Phils.